Welcome! We've all had those wow moments with AI chat tools, right? But today, we're going to transform our understanding of what's really going on. We're peeling back the layers on things like ChatGPT to reveal the incredible engine inside. And trust me, it's truly more than meets the eye.
So here's our game plan. We'll start by unpacking the machine, then we'll meet the Autobot application. After that, we're going deep inside the core engine. We'll see how it levels up from a simple predictor to a real partner, get a handle on its powers and limits, and then wrap it all up with the final transformation.
Okay, first things first. When you type a prompt into an AI chat tool, it might feel like you're talking to one single thing, but you're not. You're actually interacting with two totally distinct parts that are working together to create that magic you see on screen.
So, you've got the application. That's the user interface, the part you actually see and type into. But then behind that, you have the large language model, or LLM. That's the super powerful engine doing the actual thinking. For our tour today, let's think of the application as the powerful Autobot and the LLM as the spark of intelligence that brings it to life.
So let's start with that Autobot, the AI application you're chatting with. It's not just a simple messenger passing your question along. No, it performs a really crucial first transformation on your prompt before that core engine ever even gets a look at it. What it does is it grabs your simple question and starts packing it with more info, like your recent chat history and a bunch of other important instructions. This pre-processing step is absolutely vital because it sets the stage. It provides all the context that guides the conversation and really shapes the final answer you get. So that kind of begs the question, right? What exactly are these invisible instructions that are getting tacked on behind the scenes? Well, this is where the application really starts to play puppet master with the AI's behavior. Think of these instructions like a mission briefing for the AI. You've got the system prompt, which basically sets its personality. Be a friendly assistant. Then you've got tools, which give it superpowers, like the ability to search the web. And finally, there's retrieve data, which is how it can instantly know all about that PDF you just uploaded. All right, so we've checked out the Autobot's powerful body. Now let's look at the spark of intelligence itself, the large language model. This is where the real magic happens. So at its very core, an LLM is a gigantic, mind-bogglingly complex neural network. I want you to picture this web with billions, sometimes trillions of connections called parameters. They get fine-tuned over months of training, and that's what allows the model to process information. But here's the kicker. It doesn't understand words the way you and I do. See, first it has to translate our language into something it can compute, and it does that by smashing text down into these common little chunks of characters called tokens. So instead of seeing the word transformer, the model might see it as two separate numerical pieces, transform and er. And then each one of those tokens gets turned into this long list of numbers called a vector embedding. And this is the truly brilliant part. This string of numbers represents that token's meaning and its relationship to every other token. It's how you translate the beautiful nuance of human language into cold, hard math that a machine can actually work with. And this visualization just shows that journey perfectly. Over on the left, you see our language getting shattered into tokens, and on the right, you see how those vectors let the model group similar ideas, like water and cold, close together in its mathematical mind. It's literally how it learns that king is to queen as man is to woman. Mind-blowing, right? So how in the world does this engine learn to be so smart? It's not magic. It's an incredibly intense two-phase training process. Think of it like the AI's own epic training montage. First up is pre-training, and for this, the model is basically forced to drink from the fire hose of the public internet. Articles, books, forums, you name it. After months of this, you get what's called a foundation model. It knows a ton, and it's fantastic at predicting the next word, but it's not really a great assistant just yet. And that's where phase 2, fine-tuning, comes in. Developers take that raw, powerful foundation model and then train it on a much smaller, really high-quality set of conversations written by humans. This is the step that transforms it from just a text predictor into a helpful, conversational partner that actually knows how to follow your instructions. All right, so now that we know how this machine is built and trained, we really need to get into its capabilities and, maybe even more importantly, its limitations. What can this mind actually do and what can't it? One of the biggest limitations you've got to remember is that the model's knowledge is static. It's essentially a snapshot, completely frozen in time. It knows a ridiculous amount about the world up to its knowledge cutoff date, but it has no idea of what happened yesterday or even 5 minutes ago. So how do you get around that? Well, this is where our Autobot, the application, swoops back in. It gives the LLM tools like a web search. When the LLM figures out it needs current info, it just asks the application to go use a tool. The application runs the search, and then it injects the results right back into the conversation for the LLM to use. Pretty clever.
Okay, let's talk about memory. This is a really big one. An LLM doesn't remember your chat history the way a person does. Its memory is totally defined by something called the context window. Just think of the context window as the model's short-term memory. Everything, and I mean everything, in your current chat, your prompts, the AI's answers, any files you've uploaded, even those hidden system prompts, it all has to fit inside this window for the AI to be able to remember it and take it into account.
And just a short time ago, we were all blown away when these context windows were hitting around 128,000 tokens for models like GPT-4o. I mean, that's enough to feed the AI an entire 300-page book and have it remember every single detail. But things are moving ridiculously fast. The latest models are now pushing a jaw-dropping 1 to 2 million tokens. This is a complete game changer. It means they can process entire novels or massive, complex code bases all in one shot. And finally, we have to talk about hallucinations. This is so important because these models are designed to generate what is statistically plausible, not what is factually true. They can sometimes just make stuff up. They'll give you an answer that sounds completely confident and correct, but it's just plain wrong. You always have to remember you're talking to a plausibility engine, not a fact database. Okay, so after this whole journey under the hood, after looking at the application, the engine, the training, the limits, what does this all mean for you? What are the big things to take away from all this? Well, it really boils down to this. Number 1, the application is the Autobot. It's what assembles the mission and gives the core engine its tools and its power. 2, the LLM is the spark, that incredibly deep prediction engine that's been fine-tuned to be your conversational partner. And 3, you've got to know your machine. Understanding the rules of the game, like context windows and hallucinations, is the absolute key to using it effectively. See, by understanding how this technology actually works, we get to replace mystery with clarity. The magic becomes engineering, and that's incredibly empowering. So the final question isn't really about what the machine can do, it's about you. Now that you know how it works, what are you going to build with it?